Hello friends, peace be with you all. I am Eman Helal, a professional online English tutor. A few months ago, I created this channel and my Facebook page, facebook.com/EnglishWithEman, to help my Arab followers learn English. Our videos start from scratch, from the alphabet, and gradually we get to learn more about English. If you're an Arab out there, subscribe to my channel, watch all the previous videos, and you'll get an email notification whenever we post a new video. So you may be asking now, if my audience are mostly Arabs, why have I created this video? Well, some of my non-Arab students suggested that I create this video to try to help even more learners around the world by explaining to them how they can learn a language very easily. So let's start by some basic instructions that help us learn any language. Being a language teacher for years, I always received these questions. I want to learn English. How can I do that? Should I take classes? And are they enough? Or do I have to study? And how should I study? I'm sure that anyone who needs to learn a language must have these questions in mind. Let's agree on something first. The class or the tutor's job accounts for not more than 20 or even 10% of the learning process. The remaining 80% is the learner's work. Let's first talk about what you should do as a learner and then talk about the tutor. Language is a skill, just like any skill. And in order to master it, you will have to master 4 sub-skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Notice that speaking is dependent on listening. Let's take an example. Babies. Normal babies learn how to talk easily and with no difficulties. However, hearing impaired babies are not able to speak even if their speech organs are intact. This is because their brain doesn't receive any input, words and sounds. Therefore, it doesn't produce any output, words and sounds. This proves that the baby must hear sounds to be able to speak. He must make mistakes and we must correct him. He does that by only listening to other people speaking and by recording every single word he hears along with its pronunciation. From listening only, he starts to deduce some rules. Some are wrong, and gradually he learns the right rules and ends up speaking like adults. The same thing happens when grown-ups try to learn a second language. You will notice that when people live abroad for years, they pick up the language of the country where they live. This happens spontaneously just by listening and trial and error. What I want to say is, listening is the most important language skill. We listen to understand the language, and we listen to learn how to speak like natives. One of the most important convictions you must have while learning a new language is that you're not learning the language as much as you're acquiring it. Learning is usually used to describe activities performed by our conscious mind. On the other hand, acquiring a language is done by the subconscious mind through a process of intensive exposure to the target language. Through this exposure, you will find yourself automatically able to speak that language. Now, a question is raised. How should I practice listening? First, you have to watch something interesting. This is actually my experience. This is how I learned English. I learned it by watching a lot of movies. I didn't really concentrate on learning. I was just interested in the movies. Let me tell you how that happened. Our subconscious mind is able to process a lot of information at the same time without us even noticing that. So if you play a certain song every day for a month, while doing something else at the same time, you will memorize the lyrics without doing any effort. This happens because our subconscious mind already records the lyrics while you're focusing on doing other activities. The same thing happens when we're watching a movie. We concentrate on the story and our subconscious mind records the new words and expressions and their pronunciations, and with a little more concentration on the subtitles along with the speaker's pronunciation, the results are fantabulous. But we're always advised not to read subtitles so that we could get used to understanding the language without them. Great. Let's assume that we don't read the subtitles. What will be the result? We will not understand nearly 90% of the story. Let's talk about a beginner. How long can they hold on? Probably 15 or 30 minutes? then they will probably feel bored and start reading the subtitles, or they may feel frustrated and may not be able to understand the story of the movie. So my advice is read the subtitles and at the same time, try to focus on what the speakers are saying, but without losing the fun. Doing this will stimulate your mind to learn new words, structures, and expressions and their pronunciations. After watching the movie once or twice, and after understanding the story, only then can you try to watch it again without the subtitles. And that can be an exercise for revision. You should practice your listening skills for no less than 45 minutes to an hour daily. Watch any TV content in the same way I described before. At this point, a question is raised. How can I find time for doing that? I finish work late. I'm very busy. I have a lot of commitments. All this is quite understandable. But we have to know that life is a group of priorities piled one over the other. And just as we're ready to invest in our effort and money, we've got to be ready to invest in our time. We have to completely change the misconception that in order to learn a language, all you have to do is take a class and wait for the magic. The class is nothing but a helping factor. In short, investing in your time is as important as investing in your money and effort. Babies take from 3 to 4 years to learn their first language. Adults can master a new language in almost 1/4 of that time, provided that they focus. This is the key, focusing. Great! Now we know how to practice listening. The question is, will we be able to speak correctly if we constantly practice listening? Unfortunately, the answer is no. If you practice listening, your ears will get used to the language, of course, and to the rate of speech. It will be easy for you to understand natives, but you will not be able to speak correctly until you try yourself. You have to find someone to speak with, to allow your subconscious mind to use the input it received. You will then find yourself in need of certain words while speaking. Your job is to look up these words in a dictionary and learn more about them. You can talk with a friend over the phone, through voice chat, on a Skype group, or even with yourself. However, bear in mind that speaking with another person is way more stressful and fruitful than speaking with yourself, as you're constantly put under the pressure of expressing your ideas to someone. You can resort to speaking with yourself if you can't find a speaking partner. Just imagine a conversation between you and someone else. Perfect. We're done with the first two skills, listening and speaking. Let's move on to reading and writing. Notice that the more you read, the more your writing skills improve and you find yourself using new words and sentence structures. This is because, as I said, our mind records everything, every word, every sentence, every expression, and it surprises us by using them at just the right time. When you read, you learn things without even knowing, just like listening. That's the beauty of learning languages. So, what should you read? Each one of us is at a certain language level and has some vocabulary knowledge. The person who knows best what you should read is in fact you. First, you go to a bookstore selling new or used books. Look for books written in the target language. You gotta choose a book about interesting subjects, something you will enjoy reading. You can start with novels or short stories or easy online articles. Open the book, choose a random page, and start reading. If you find yourself able to understand almost 70% of the page and only a few words are not clear to you, this is the book you should get and it will benefit you. What if you find yourself not able to understand half of the words? Never buy this book, because in that case, most of the focus will be on trying to look up the new words in a dictionary and you will not enjoy the reading process. Maybe reading will be linked to the feelings of tiredness and boredom and you will not be eager to do it every day. And this may negatively influence your language learning in general. So now we've agreed that we have to understand most of the words in the book or article that we choose so that we can be able to focus on enjoying the reading process. Then what? Every day you should read a few pages of the book, and of course there will be some new words. You will be able to guess some of them, and the others will still be difficult to guess. Of those, you should choose only one word. Look it up in a dictionary. a bilingual dictionary such as Google, then a monolingual dictionary such as Longman. Monolingual dictionaries are very useful as they offer the definition of the word, and this of course enriches your vocabulary. They also offer examples, expressions, and prepositions. After that, you search the word on Google and see how people use it. Finally, try to use the word in 5 sentences of your own. That's it. 1 word per day. Take Sunday off and review all 6 words of the week. All the dictionaries and the websites you can use to practice reading and listening are linked in the description box below. Notice that I didn't mention anything about memorizing word lists. This is simply because if you don't use the words you memorized, you will forget them. However, it's not easy to forget a word you learn in context or a word you learn from a movie scene. So practicing is much more powerful than memorization. All you need to do is read the definitions of the word and the examples and write examples of your own. Now we reach writing. Writing is a productive skill, which means you have to try writing yourself in order to learn it. Reading helps improve your writing skills, but the rule of thumb says to learn writing, you have to write, make mistakes, and get corrected. So what should you write? 1 paragraph a week on any topic of your choice. You will need a language coach to help you with the correction, and this takes us to the last point, the coach or the class. As you can see, we've been talking about the 80% which the learner should do. What about the remaining 20 or 10%? The learner should go through the experience of practicing the language, and the tutor should only coach them. A good tutor is one that can guide you to the right path, but after all, you will use your own legs to walk. What is the 20 or 10%? It's the presence of someone that corrects you when you write or speak. Someone to give you advice. Someone to speak with you. A tutor's job is to create an environment where you feel that you're immersed in the target language. The tutor or the course is a helping factor that you may need, especially if you're a beginner. However, a lot of people can learn a language just by practicing. Having a tutor is a personal preference. It's like when you visit a foreign country. You may choose to explore all the places on your own, or you may choose to hire a guide to learn from their experience. Both choices are valid. What do you think of this person? He seems to be really excited, but he isn't allowing himself to speak. If that person hires a tutor, he will not benefit from the course. This is because he doesn't allow himself to produce the language. He only receives input, but there is no output. So this means we have to use the target language in front of our tutor as much as we can, so that we allow him or her to correct us. I find a lot of students who prefer to stay silent in class, and of course they don't progress. So let's recap. We should improve 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. You should practice listening for 1 hour daily. Read the subtitles and also focus on what the speakers say. Remember to watch something you enjoy. You should speak with a friend for 15 minutes every day. Read a few pages of a book or an article online, choose 1 word to learn, and finally write a paragraph every week and send it to your tutor to correct. I hope you liked the video. Practice, practice, always practice. Learning a new language is an exciting journey. Enjoy it and feel the excitement of being introduced to a different culture. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in taking Skype classes with me, please contact me on this email or call me on this number. If you're an Arab out there, check out my other videos here or click on the name of the channel. See you in the next video, inshallah.